What is up, dreamers, and welcome to the Audacity to Heal podcast. I am your host, Marletta Jammer, and you might know me in these digital streets as the professional dreamer. If you're joining for the very first time, this isn't just any podcast. This, my friend, is a place where dreams meet reality, where stories of healing take center stage, and where every moment is a celebration of the audacity it takes to heal. Life has a way of throwing us curveballs, and trust me, your girl has navigated some unexpected turns herself. But through it all, it has unearthed a resilience in me that I truly didn't know that I had. For me, my journey became a canvas painted with those twists and turns, and what led to an even deeper connection to my faith. I've come to understand that healing and renewal aren't just words, nor are they a linear path. Healing isn't about the destination, but it is everything to do with the journey. I look forward to sharing my journey, intimately, authentically, and yes, sometimes hilariously. So whether you're tuning in on your morning commute, joining us live, or discovering us in the wee hours of the night, I want you to know that healing is an art, and you are a masterpiece in the making. With that said, there will be tears, lots of laughter, wisdom, and a whole lot of healing. This, my friend, is the Audacity to Heal, where we are audacious enough to believe in healing, boldly standing in our truths, and unapologetically pursuing the life we deserve. So, if you're ready, I'm honored to have you aboard this incredibly audacious ride.
As a beauty mentor, Zii Davis is a guiding light for Black women around the world. Through her online academy, Beauty for Us University, Zii empowers everyday women to elevate their makeup skills with confidence while making beauty accessible and empowering. Her passion doesn't stop at the surface. As the founder of Matter Brushes, Zii crafted intuitive tools that help women achieve a flawless look with more transformative products on the way. Beyond the brush, Zii's impact resonates through her voice and her pen. She is the creator of Crowned Affirmations, an empowerment album that inspires women to chase their dreams and unlock their fullest potential. And now, as the new author of The Mental Gym, a spiritual workout journal to strengthen your faith and mind, Zii shares practical tools and spiritual wisdom, guiding readers on a journey of faith and mental resilience. Her story is one of profound strength and unwavering faith. After enduring a tragic loss, Zii's life has become a testament to God's enduring love and his faithfulness. With a heart ablaze, she has passionately invited women to experience God in a way that will transform their lives from the inside out. Get ready to be inspired and uplifted. The next episode of the Audacity to Heal podcast starts right now.
Hello. What is up, dreamers? What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Audacity to Heal podcast. As you know, I am your host. If you don't know, I'm your host, Marletta Jammer. As I said in the intro, you might know me in these digital streets as the professional dreamer. And I am just so honored to have my guest tonight. Y'all, you listen to the intro. She don't even really need another intro because the incredible Miss Zii Davis, y'all. I wish I had an applause machine so we could.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That video was beautiful. You're gonna have to send me that. I will pay you for that.
Girl, I will definitely send that to you. Well, I just want you to welcome your people, your community in your own way. As I have shared with Zii, I am so excited about tonight because if you don't have your copy of The Mental Gym, I do. And it's so much stuff that I just want to talk about from the book alone, but I want you to be herself in this atmosphere. Audacity to Heal family, welcome her. And Zii, you can say hello to your people, shout out your community and your loved ones.
Fantastic. Listen, I'm trying to make sure I share this on Facebook.
Okay.
But I just want to say hello to all of the Nation out there. Those are the people that are inside of my Beauty for Us community. I want to say hello to all of the Mental Gym Chimps. Those are those who are have joined, quote unquote, the Mental Gym. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the support and the love. Now, my people, if you are watching online, my people drop fruit in the comments. That's their way of letting me know that they're here. And fruit also means that they hear something fruitful. So you'll probably see a lot of fruit in the comments as we talk. So thank you so much for having me again. Thank you so much for your support and just being such a positive light. I really, really, really appreciate it. You have been just so pleasant to work with and just such a pleasant support just even on social media. So I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome. Well, it is truly a pleasure to have you here. And I am, like I said, I feel like I'm part of the universe. Did you say the nation? What is it?
I call them BU Nation.
The BU Nation. Okay, I'm not a part of them. I'm the Mental Gym people. But look, I'm trying to figure out how can I drop some fruit in the comments.
Yeah.
So cute. Look, dreamers, we gonna have to find us a little cute something to do. As I always tell my community, I'm just here to be your motivator, your cheerleader, your hype girl. For those who do not know and have not followed me, I was the mascot of my high school. So I am for real to this. I am your hype girl, and that is just who I am. And I just am so excited to be in this season, to be able to bring people like Zii into my community so that we can continue to help people be the best versions of themselves that they ultimately can be. That is my mission. That is what I feel that I am most called to do, is to help people to continue to grow and to be the best versions of themselves. Now, just like I said, I feel like I'm a part of her community already. I started following Zii in about, I think it was around 2020. So it's like post-pandemic, we're getting into our normalcy kind of situation there. If you know, you know. And I'm scrolling through and I see a brow tutorial. Now, I will put on a little beat, but if I see a good brow, like to me, your brows is what makes your face. So I'm looking, I see this brow tutorial and I'm like, okay, I like her energy. I like her style. So I just start following along. And so Zii, for those of you who do not know from my community, Zii, tell my community a little bit about yourself. Tell them where you're from. You don't have to start with just the makeup. Look, I'm learning stuff about her every day. As y'all saw in my story, she sings. What? Girl, you do everything. So tell us a little bit about Ms. Zii Davis. Tell us about yourself.
Well, hello to everyone. If you are new here, my name is Zii, and more than anything, you guys, I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus. I believe that he loves me. He calls me special, and I believe that he made me just the way that I am. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from I call us the real South. I know. And not only do I believe in praising God, I also believe in balance, so I can take over for the 99 and 2000 if if the setting is right. But as my career, I have spent more than 10 years as a makeup artist, and I transitioned into educating everyday women on how to do their own makeup with confidence. I do it inside of my platform called Beauty for Us University. It is the first online makeup school for everyday women to learn how to do their makeup like a pro. In addition to that, I have my own brush line. It is a makeup brush line called Matter Brushes, where the numbers will instruct you on how to do your makeup, and you can get that from matterbrushes.com. Before the brush line came, I was really doing a lot of empowerment, and I created a brunch called Rock Your Crown Empowerment Brunch. This is where dreamers could really dream. And during this brunch, there were so many ways for women to understand that there is more. There is more than going to work and paying bills. There is more than giving up on the things that you really want to do and the things that God put inside of you. And we just provided empowerment and tools in order for them to get that done. During that time, God really gave me an obedience project. That's what I call it. And that is crowned affirmations. So a lot of people have listened to, I was actually looking at the numbers, last month's numbers for the stream. So more than 14,000 people are listening to the song, and they don't know that I'm the actual voice behind the song. So ta-da, it's me. But it was an obedience project. I don't consider myself a music artist. I just want to walk into the lane that God is directing me. So it has been a blessing all over the world. I'm very grateful for that. People keep asking me, when's the next project, baby? I don't know. We on the book now. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going with God. I don't know what he has in store. Okay. I'm just flowing. So Crowned Affirmations have definitely been a blessing, but it is an affirmation album that you can bump to. I was looking for something that was not going to put me to sleep. I didn't need anything to meditate on. I needed something to drive and ride and prep myself for the day. And Crowned Affirmations was what came out of that. What else? Fast forward to today. I am the author of The Mental Gym. This was a project birthed out of really tragedy. It was a project birthed out of pain. But a lot of people during my time of pain, time of tragedy, a lot of people were wondering how I could still hold on to my praise. And I lost my fiance in October of this past last year, and it was a very, very challenging time. I'm still sweeping the residue, and people wanted to know, well, how can you still praise God in this? How are you able to do this? And so I wanted to really comprise some tools that I used in order to get through that. And I'm still using those tools. I'm still using those practical tools that I put inside of this book in order to make it through. So I pray that the Mental Gym blesses somebody. And I'm excited about speaking more about it.
Look, let me get my copy and my little notes, because
I'm right here with you.
First of all, I'm sorry. We're going to get to the book, but did y'all hear all the stuff that she does so much?
So much. Yeah, and it's the Lord's doing.
Look, that's what I was about to go back to with you and say, I am like that myself. We just flow. We go with where the Holy Spirit say, what God say. That's what we're doing in this season. Yeah. And that obedience opens up so many doors that sometimes you can't explain to people. We just walking by faith in this thing.
That's it.
And, I might not have the answer to the next step, but right now where we are, I have enough answers from what he's told me to move forward. Yeah. And that's all that it takes. But I just wanted to go back a little bit. You talked about, before we get into the book, you talked about at the very beginning of the book how you went through a season of, I guess, trying to, I don't know, I'm going to read it from how she said it.
Okay.
When you got to therapy.
Yes.
How did you get to the place of going to therapy, or even what was that journey like? Because that's a foundational part of the book, y'all. And so I want you to just kind of share a little bit about that journey, because that, again, like I said, is some of the foundation of the book.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna give a disclaimer, you guys. I'm a person that just keeps it really, really real, and it might be the Memphis in me, but I keep it really, really real. But I think that a lot of times when we see ourselves the truest and the realest when we're in a relationship. there are things in a relationship, when you're in a romantic relationship, that really pulls out the good, the bad, and the ugly of you. And I was in some places that did not deserve my value. I was out of character in some relationships. And I said, man, it's something down on the inside that I gotta fix. Now I'm gonna try to read this book and this book, and then I'm gonna read this book because I'm a DIYer. So I'm gonna try to fix myself. Okay. I'm gonna try to fix myself and read these books, but I was just coming to a ceiling. I just kept hitting the ceiling, and I said, there has to be more. There has to be more beyond this. And my friend who actually wrote the foreword to the book, my sister Rosalind Renee, she is a licensed therapist, but she really encouraged me. I watched her journey as she was going through therapy and how it was helping her and healing her. And I said, man, I think I need to try this therapy thing. You know, it wasn't anything that was super popular, you know, on social media at the time, but it was something that I said, man, I want to give it a try. And I knew on the other side of that God was calling me to be a generational curse breaker. And that sounds so rah-rah, empowering and all that kind of stuff until you get in it.
Come on, talk about it.
You will be fighting for your life. But I knew that God had called me to break some things in my bloodline, but I had to be able to recognize it first. There's one particular thing that's coming to mind, and it is when people say, I feel some kind of way. You know, that's not a feeling. We have to be able to identify what is the feeling that we feel. Yeah. And for me, I was feeling some rejection. I was feeling some loneliness. And it was showing up in my relationship where I was being codependent emotionally upon the man that I was with. I needed to fix that. I needed to learn how to be alone. I needed to learn how to self-soothe. I needed to learn how to understand my response defaults and how to alter them. There was a lot of things that Z needed to work on. Now, therapy was no easy feat, but when I got in it, the first thing the woman she didn't even make it 2 steps down the stairs. I was crying before I toe up before I filled out the paperwork. It was terrible. It was terrible. I said, I'm a mess. But I knew that there were some things that I wanted to adjust within myself before I started creating a family. I knew I didn't want to continue passing some of those things down, and I wanted to clean up what was on the inside of me so that I can be healthy, you know, for my bloodline that comes after me. I'm responsible for my bloodline that comes after me. But that was a big part of why I even joined therapy.
That speaks volumes to you in and of itself, just to even have that inkling, because that's not just in everybody. Some of us know we got some junk, but we don't say to ourselves, like, I need to go get some help with this. Yeah. And that goes into another episode that we did previously about the stigmas of therapy and mental health, and even taking those steps, because a lot of it is generational. It is cultural. Our people are typically not the people that go to therapy because it's just something that's not, well, over the years, we haven't been exposed to that, and it goes deep. So for you to even have the fortitude to know, hey, something ain't right, like, and that's a level of emotional intelligence, whether you realize it at the time, to be able to say, okay, I'm even to know that you needed to be able to not be codependent. Like, these are big terms. And you talk about in the book how you basically became a student of the things that you were getting in therapy. And a lot of us that have never experienced therapy have these preconceived notions that, you know, you're just going to go talk to somebody and they're going to just fix you with some conversations. But I love that you included that in the book, because that does break down some of those stigmas about therapy and what it is. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
And those tools that you were gaining, you shared in the book that you literally was like taking, it was like SATs. But this was later, I think you talk about the SATs.
And what happens is, just depending on your relationship with your therapist and how they do therapy, you can phase out of therapy. So
Correct.
Whereas my therapist is one to give you tools and help you to navigate how to use them, eventually we started talking and I started sharing how I was using my tools in order to navigate whatever situation it was. And she was basically saying like, okay, you got it. Like, we can let this go. We don't need to talk no more. You got it. And I was like, but I don't want to leave. You know, I really need this space to talk. But those tools are there to help you reframe, like I said, your defaults or your default reaction to things. So whereas you may, shut down, now you can reframe the default to actually communicate. Whereas you may get angry, maybe your default is now to do breathing exercises, whatever that is. But changing your defaults is really, the goal, in my opinion, of therapy, to be able to not stop. You can't stop life from happening, but you can alter how you handle life's happenings.
Absolutely. And you talk about, as you were beginning to get to that, I guess, phasing out, as you were realizing that you could anchor yourself. The terminology that you're using in this book, like, I am like a mental health geek. So I'm reading it like, yes, let's talk about the anchoring. Come on. Many of us don't even know what that is, let alone the term self-soothe. And when you said that a minute ago, like, my mind, I'm over here like inside out, and then I've had my energy drink, so that don't help at all. That I'm lit. But those simple things are tools that can help just get you from point A to B, just on a basic level. Self-soothing, learning how to anchor yourself, and dealing with these emotions that they're gonna come. I love Dr. Nita Phillips's. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Nita Phillips, but she's a trauma therapist, and she talks about emotions and how a lot of us have gotten accustomed to ignoring our emotions and ignoring, like you said, where is the root of this? Where does this come from? Why am I feeling? And that was a lot of my own personal healing journey and walking towards those therapeutic modalities. Asking those questions. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Because you can keep blaming everybody for so long, and then it's like, wait, no, I need some help with this.
Yeah.
There's something that I need to be able to do in order to change the outcome of this. I can't keep blaming everybody. You also share in the book that as life would happen, life gets to life, and
yes,
we fast forward, and I think we're going to pick up at about 2022. That's where I want to pick up. Yes. So May 2022.
All right.
Engaged.
Yes.
Is that your birthday month as well?
Yes.
So
I actually got engaged at my birthday party. Yeah.
So you get engaged May 22. Look, I'm looking at the timeline because
yes,
you laid everything out. First of all, let me go back because we're ready to get into the book. The way this book is laid out is just the structure. Again, let's talk about the book.
Okay.
How did you even come up with the idea to call it the mental gym?
So the mental gym was actually like a God-given thought, but it was a God-given thought in 2021, 2022. I was actually on the phone with Rosalind, and I was struggling in my business. I was struggling with kind of understanding this coaching space concerning my makeup students. I was struggling with just kind of what I was thinking. I was just I've always been a phase of understanding that there is power in my thoughts. And so I was like, man, what is it that I'm thinking that could be limiting me from actually hitting the numbers, hitting the, success that I'm looking for? And we were on the phone. I was like, girl, I think I'm gonna put myself in a mental gym. I was writing down, kind of doing. She was like, what does that mean? I was like, I just keep writing over and over, like what it is that I need to hear. Basically affirmations, I think. And that was my thought process, that I was going to put myself in a mental gym. So every day I spent 5 minutes writing affirmations that I need to hear. If I couldn't think of anything, I will repeat the same thing that I wrote before. So I literally have a journal with affirmations daily that I needed to hear in order to affirm myself in my business. And so the mental gym was just the perfect title, but it was definitely a title that came years ago. But I wasn't thinking, to put it on the book.
The book then.
No, absolutely not.
So that takes me when you said affirmations. So where did the actual crowned affirmations come into play?
So that was like 2016. 2016, I actually attended a real estate conference, and that's where I learned about affirmations. I thought I was going to do like the whole real estate flipping thing, and it might still be in the cards. I don't know. But
I
just try stuff. So I went to this conference, and she taught me 3 affirmations. You are wanted, you are worthy, and if you try, you will succeed. Of course, it was turned around so that you can say, I am wanted, I am worthy. If I try, I will succeed. And I said, man, these are really powerful. And I was searching for other affirmations that I can listen to. I just really started being an affirmation junkie. But everything I heard was so sleepy. I'm like, why are the people sleepy? This is really not it. I need something I can move to, because my brain works better in the morning. I don't want to listen to this. And it's something about that background music that does not do well for me in my sleep. So it wasn't working. And I just started to record my own voice. I was like, I really need to hear my voice say these things. And eventually it turned into an album. God started giving me the pull. It felt the old school, we call it an unction. God gave me an unction.
Come on, old school.
To find the music to put behind these affirmations. And as I was finding the music, the lyrics were coming, and I was writing, and I got in the studio, recorded it, even had an album release party. I said, girl, who do you think you are? What is happening?
An artist.
No, for real. I was traveling, performing. I was doing all the things. Girl, who are you right now?
Did you go to Tokyo?
I did. I actually
did. Zii.
The Lord is funny. Just like we are laughing, this is how I laugh with the Lord. Boy, you funny.
Girl, who you telling? Okay. Yes.
Because what is happening right now? I was doing all the things. I would say, who knew that crowned affirmations would take me this far? I feel like Kurt Franklin.
Girl. Wow.
It was crazy. So yeah, that's how that came about. So the affirmations were first.
Okay. 2016. But that's so God. He will take you through these things. And that just makes me think of the scripture. All things work to the good of them that love the Lord and call according to his purpose. You be way over here in Tokyo.
Listen.
And later wrote a mental gym.
Listen, I don't know. I'm just walking by faith and not by sight. People ask me all the time, girl, what are you doing? Girl, walking by faith and not by sight. Blind. That's it.
See, you my people, because it takes everybody don't understand that.
It's not
because it's like, but what are you gonna do? I don't know. Me and God will figure it out when we get there. I can't tell you nothing else. We're gonna take these little steps right here in this order. But that is so like him, to tie it all together. And when I was reading your bio, that's why the story that I did before the show, I'm like, I'm up here doing this bio. She got a whole album.
Yeah, it's me.
And it fits with this. It's just how God is. And so we got affirmations, and I shared about affirmations myself because I have an aunt that back in the day was printing out notebooks for us as family. She's always been about the words that you speak. So before it was like on social media, like I started to pull it out. I have a notebook of affirmations. And so the words that we speak, I joined that bandwagon a long time ago. I saw personally the transformative power of my words. And I was so excited when I found that you had music that, like you said, don't put you to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know about Cindy Trim, but
I love her.
she has a little bit of an upbeatness to her affirmation style things. And that's who like I followed years and years ago when she first started. And so to have like a modern version, as I was listening, I said, look at Z over here being like Cindy Trim, the modern version, the younger version with the upbeat. I love that.
Thank you.
But that takes us right into where we are in the book, at the beginning stages of the book. As you said, it was birthed out of tragedy.
Yes.
And that just makes me think about the scripture about beauty for ashes, because God has a way, like I said, of weaving it all together. So we mentioned a moment ago, and I'm ADD, so forgive me.
It's okay.
2022, we mentioned that you got engaged.
Yes.
And then after that, let me see. Look, I got my time.
You got pregnant.
We had Sunday Rain.
Sunday
I love
Rain.
her name.
Thank
That
you.
is such a pretty name.
Thank you.
And then that's 2022. Was she born in 22 or 20?
She was born in 2023.
23. So we got pregnant 2023. And then we fast forward a little bit down the line, and you just take it from there and share how the progression after being a new mom. You're a new mom, you're engaged. Let's talk about that year.
That year was a very challenging year from the jump. So even during pregnancy was a very challenging time, just mentally and emotionally. There was a lot going on. Sunday's dad, it was an entrepreneur and had his hand in many pots. So just as as partners, we were delving into a new business, which was a restaurant. And if you know anything about the restaurant business, it is one of the most challenging industries that you can start. And so we were building a dream. We had goals, we had plans, and we were living out these goals and plans, but they were not going according to plan. There were things that we wanted in place before Sunday Rain got here, and those things did not happen in the timing in which we planned. So things were a little challenging. Things were, they were challenging. So pregnancy in that aspect, in that manner, was challenging. I was slowing down in my business as well, just because I didn't want to overcommit and underdeliver. So I just decided to slow down in my business as well. And then Sunday Rain came. Sunday Rain was born, and she she is an absolute joy to our family. But she was maybe 2 days shy of turning 4 months when her dad was killed at the restaurant. And our life just kind of slowed. It's really a crazy thing with tragedy, because your life goes into a time warp. Where life can feel like it's going so fast, and then it can also feel like it's going so slow at the same time. So I can't even say what time is for me. And it reminds me of how God is with timing. God, he doesn't look at time in the way we look at it. So whereas things feel like it's a lifetime for us, it feels like 2 seconds to him. Whereas things feel like 2 seconds to us, it can feel longer to him, because his ways are not our ways. So after that, it's really been about healing and what I call managing my joy. I don't go to grief counseling, I go to joy counseling. How do I manage my joy? How do I manage what's in front of me, but also understanding that God is still God? That time was very, very painful, more painful than now. But that time was extremely painful. It was extremely testing, to see if I was really about their life. Am I really who I say I am? Who am I really a believer? Am I really trusting that God's word is true? Am I really walking this thing out? Do I really believe that vengeance is mine, said the Lord? Do I really believe that he collects all of my tears? Do I really believe that he's still a sovereign God? Do I really believe that I can still honor him with my worship? Do I really believe that he's still worthy of my praise? Because if he was a natural man on the street and he was telling me to, hey, keep loving me while you suffer.
Come on, Memphis.
Huh? Because if he was a real natural one on the street, you block. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear from you. But do I really believe that he is who he says that he is? Do I really believe that I'm his daughter? Do I really believe that he is compassionate, that he sees me? So that time frame, I needed reminders. I thank God for my friends. I thank God for my village, my mother, his mother, his family, my family. I needed to be surrounded by those reminders when I didn't have it. It was in me, but I needed somebody I needed some help. I needed a lighter, to light up again what was in me. So it was a very challenging time. Sunday is 4 months. I am breastfeeding or trying, but I can't breastfeed if I'm not eating. If I can't nourish my body, I can't nourish my baby. And that was very challenging because that was not how I intended, my mommy journey to look. Even today, this is not what I planned. This is not how I planned it, but disruption is the Lord's doing, and all things still work together, for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. So it's been challenging, but I thank God that he has carried me, and I thank God for counseling, and my counselor, she guides me. And I told her from the jump, hey ma'am, I'm not here to keep crying. I got to get up off this floor.
Yes.
I'm here to manage my joy. Let's talk about those things.
Yes.
Help me. Thank you.
You said it in the book. You said the disrespect of grief swallowed my ability to think, to talk, and to sleep. But somewhere in me, I still believed in the promises of God. I read that, and I remember a season of my life feeling so in a place of despair. Yeah. But even when I couldn't fathom just even taking a step in front of me, there was something inside of me. If you've never been in a pit type of situation, those words just are words on a page. But as I was reading that, like I got hairs starting to stick up on me, because that takes a certain kind of, like you said, do I really believe this stuff?
Yeah.
That I've been singing about in my little affirmations when it was not really as tough as this season.
Yes.
And so you shared how everything you had learned in therapy literally became your default settings in the midst of this unimaginable pain. And you realize now that the whole time, this is where we talk about that, weaving it together, that the time that you were in therapy, God was actually your mental and spiritual trainer.
Yeah.
Girl, if you don't put this all together in this book, I'm telling you, I talk to your book when I'm reading it. I've been having conversations with you since I got the book.
I love it.
Save that in there, because getting you fit for the journey ahead, like he is always preparing you. Yeah. Even down to the affirmations.
Yeah.
Will you be able to still say those things?
Yeah.
In the time where you shared, like you even mentioned not even being able to eat. You shared that in the book. And I was a breastfeeding mother. Girl, the struggle is real.
Listen.
Let alone when you're not eating and you're weak, and that whole just season of walking that out. But before we talk more about the book itself, I want to give you space to share anything about your journey and your healing process, and how your faith, you feel, has really been the cornerstone, or what has really sustained you. And you've already touched on it, but if you want to share even more about your faith, and even take us back, because you already said the unction, so we know she grew up in the church, y'all.
Yeah, that was actually the first thing I was about to say. You know, I grew up in church. And there's one thing to grow up in church, but there's another thing to have and understand a personal relationship with God. I grew up in a Baptist church where we learned about the hand of God. So the hand is, you know, squalling about he's a bill payer. You know, he's a wheel in the middle of a wheel. He's your doctor and your lawyer. And, you know, you learn about the titles, you know, that God can take on. He's a mother for the motherless, father for the fatherless, you know. But when I found personal relationship with God, I learned about his heart for me. There is something to be said about somebody that you can call on and you know they just got a good heart. In human nature, you think about your best friend, why you love your best friend, or why you fell in love with someone. You know, it was their heart. There's somebody that is in your corner that you know you can call on, who's dependable. You know, you can call them and they just want to help. You know, you can call them and they have the best intention for you. They're so supportive. They're cheering for you. We think about all of these characteristics and we smile when we think about these people here on earth. But we don't think about God that way. We have a very challenging time fathoming that this big God in the sky is thinking about little old me in a world of 1 billion people. And there's only one thing that you can do in order to get there, and that's make a decision. Because it may not make sense. Because this natural life that we live can't compare to the spiritual life that's really going on. In natural, yeah, it's some tangible stuff. We can see people smile. We can see people showing up for us. That's tangible. That's stuff we can touch. But when we start talking about our spiritual relationship, it's very challenging because we can't touch it physically. We just got to believe it in our spirit. We have to have an unwavering belief that he is a man that cannot lie, that his word won't return unto us. Well, we got to have an unwavering belief. And sometimes I've had to pray, God, help my unbelief, because you can't be God and this happening to me. Huh?
Woo!
But I've had to pray, help my unbelief, because God is a God of order. Yes. He is not the author of confusion. But he's also a compassionate God. So when I learned his heart for me, that's when everything changed. When I learned that he is being a good, good father. And I think about how my parents had to parent me. Thank you, Jesus. I think about how my parents had to tell me no. No, you can't go to Skate Odyssey with them hoodlums. No, you cannot. No, listen, no, you cannot stay out past this time. Right. And I thought that was so mean. Yeah. But they had to parent me because they loved me, because they wanted to protect me, because they wanted to guide me in the way in which I should go. And God is the same way. He gonna do some stuff that don't feel good. We're gonna experience some things that feels hurtful, that feels painful, because that's what we really want. Even when I think about Sunday loves to eat paper. I don't know what it is. She loves paper. Honey, I don't want to take your joy away. But we're not pooping paper. Okay? But that brings her so much joy, and to take it away, it hurts her feelings. And it hurts my feelings to take it away. I wish she could eat paper because it brings her so much joy. But I have to be a parent because I have the best interest for my baby, and I love my baby. God is the same way. He's a good, good father. Even when it hurts, he has our best interest at heart. He's compassionate. And for me, that's when things change. While I did grow up in the church, I know God to be a real God who understands that he made his daughter the way he made his daughter. He knows his daughter. I'm talking about me, inside and out.
Yeah.
I know I'm biased, but I just believe that I'm his favorite. I do.
Oh my gosh, I have a friend who that's her name.
I I,
God's favorite girl.
I just believe I love her. I love her
Yeah.
for truth in Christ. But I believe that I am his favorite. But even in in pain and tragedy and it's lives. Um,
Yes.
you have to have an unwavering belief that he's a good father.
Yes. And parenthood and motherhood is such a mirror to our relationship with our Heavenly Father. And like you said, the difference is that tangible. We don't have him, you know, although in some of them desperate moments, I have reached out like, I need to feel you.
Yeah.
I need you to touch me because
Yeah.
I need that embrace. And he's like you said, he's such a good father that he does hold you in his way. And it's like, oh my God, only you. But I want you to just talk a little bit since we are now to Miss Sunday Rain. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the journey of motherhood. Um, the early stages you said were a little bit challenging at first, but share a little bit about your journey into motherhood. And then, if you like, we can also kind of take a little turn there paired with grief, because that is a unique journey along with motherhood.
Motherhood is very shocking. It's like, wow,
Talk to us
you
about it.
you were really made in my body. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but my thought process was like, wow, I did not have to eat bones for my baby to have bones. I did not have to eat hair for my baby to grow hair. This is an amazing, wildly creative phenomenon. God is really the best creative. Like,
Yes.
it is
Top
really
tier.
mind blowing. There's
Mhm.
also a layer of shock. When people introduce me and they say that I'm a mother, I'm like, oh, yeah,
That's me.
that is me.
I'm that girl.
I am a mom. I really am. But it is really such a joy to take pride in this little human that you get to love and nurture and shape and mold. And she's mine forever. You can take my car, you can take my house, you can take this computer that I'm sitting on, but you can't take my baby.
I know it. Talk about it.
And I love watching her grow. I, as I only had a short time with her without the layer of grief, but going into adding a layer of grief to motherhood, I needed my village. I Sunday forced me to be present, and she's a blessing in all of this because she makes me slow down. She makes me pause, and I had to pause and feed her. I had to pause and change her diaper, pause and play with her and laugh with her and you know be present for her. I also cry with her. I don't want to be a strong mama. I
Love
don't want to be a
that.
strong mama in front of my baby. I already got a fight in the world. I don't want I want my baby to understand that it's okay to feel what you need to feel. I want you to see that mommy is human, that I'm experiencing a lot. And I want you to watch how I navigate it because life is going to hit my baby. I don't know how early it's going to happen. I don't know how late it's going to happen, but I always want her to see me as someone who can navigate life's happenings in a healthy way. Even now, she gets frustrated. She doesn't have the language to say yes or no. So she gets frustrated because you can't understand her. She's looking at what she wants, but she gets frustrated when you're not responding to what she wants. And I'm trying to teach her how to navigate, even in her frustration. And old school may laugh at it. I
Come
understand.
on. Come on.
Old school is about, hey, I'm a pop you until you get it right. I get it. But there's an emotional intelligence that can be taught early. There's an emotional
Yes.
intelligence that can be understood early. Um, and I believe that my daughter is smart enough to see mommy and kind of understand. I think she's gifted as well. I'm not sure in what way exactly, but I do believe that she's gifted. But layering that part with grief, motherhood with grief, I really am leaning on my village. I really had to lean on my village. There were times I didn't have the capacity to care for my baby, and they changed her diaper. They warmed her bottles. They made sure she was kept fed, covered, you know. Thank God I don't feel guilty. I don't feel like I missed out on anything, but I
So good.
definitely needed my village. I needed them
Yeah,
at nighttime. I needed them at the right time. I needed them in the daytime. I need, I needed help.
I love that. And I love the transparency you share in the book about some of that and the fact that there was a part of you. And if anyone has ever experienced grief, I believe you can relate to this because I did. As you're going through your season of grief and you're realizing that you need the village, as you said, they're doing the things that you don't even have at times the capacity to even think about. Um, but there was a part of you, that introverted, want to be to yourself part of you, that also craved your space,
Yes.
your to find that normalcy. What was that transition and that like, and how did you navigate that while also recognizing a part of you that still kind of needed them?
So in the beginning phases, my house was filled with people, and I needed that. I needed to be surrounded by people. And I shared my location, and I told my people, I use my close friends on Instagram as like a messenger for them. I
Okay.
put them in close friends and they could see whatever message. So I told them, hey, if you see that I'm at home, you don't have to ask, just ring the doorbell and stop by. So I always had people at home. As I was craving some sense of normalcy, which is wild to even call it that,
Right, right.
I started to slow down visits. So I would have days where I would say there are no visits today. And I would just slow down and it would just be me and Sunday. Or it would just be me, my mom and Sunday, or me and my cousin and Sunday. But it was just a time where I needed to kind of slow down because although you don't have to entertain and you're not obligated to be in front of somebody, having somebody in your home, it's just when you're
Feel,
respectful and you from the South, you just
come
feel
on,
like you're supposed to be present,
hospitable. Yeah.
hospitable in the same space. So I knew that I needed to kind of slow down visitors in order to pick myself up.
Yeah.
I can't stay in the bed all day. I'm going to have to push. And what the enemy wants to do is to tell me that my life is over. The enemy wants to tell me things that are not true. And if I don't get up and fight and figure out where I go from here, the devil is going to win. And I don't need him to win. So I use my close friends to communicate that. And that worked out really well. And eventually, we just continue to phase and kind of understand what that new uh, sense of normalcy looked like.
Normalcy was. I like that idea because I'm one of my biggest things is practicality. And that is one of the things that I love for my guests to share with the audience because we sometimes in the midst of grief, in the midst of life, and sometimes you don't have the capacity to even think about something like that. So somebody may watch this and be going through that later. Remember, oh, you know what? I can use my close friends to communicate with my people. And that way I'm not having to answer 30,000 text messages because I understand that feeling of wanting to be hospitable when you're needing people. But then also like, okay, even though they're helping you, like you said, it's got to be a Southern thing. You feel like you still got to be doing something or helping or assisting. And so I love that you put that practicality out there and gave that tidbit for somebody to take away. Um, so we're moving through the journey of the after and trying to grasp life. When did you decide to pick up a piece of paper and get to the place of writing this book? Tell us how we got there.
So God was speaking to me all throughout this. God has been speaking to me all throughout this journey God has surrounded me with very spiritually gifted friends, a very spiritually gifted village that has prophesied into my life about a lot of different things, which has brought me so much peace, so much comfort. And it's my personal relationship that I believe that has um, strengthened me to get to this point. I think if I did not have a relationship with Christ in the way that I believed his prophecies and I um, stood on his word, then I wouldn't be able to accept the things that were spoken into me. Some of those prophecies included that I should write the book. And I was like, what book? What would you like me to say? I don't know. And so when I did sit down to write, I was just thinking about, again, how so many people were in awe of how I was sharing on social media. And I was very careful. I'm already, just really private anyway, but just careful. How do I use, because I had a lot of eyes on me, and I'm closing my eyes because I'm really going back to this moment, these moments. There were a lot of eyes still now, but there were a lot of views in my stories. People wanted to know how is she going to do this? I don't know if they were looking for me to start crying, or I don't know. But we as humans, we have that compassion where we're drawn to see how are people going through tragedy like this. And I was very intentional about showing myself and my family and how we get through things. We get together, we love on each other, and we sing and we praise, we dance. And I wanted to show the reality of what this looks like, because had I not been in those shoes, I would think that you're crying 24/7. In my mind, that's what I would think. But in my shoes, I know that you're not crying 24/7. Your heart is broken, but you can still laugh. Your heart is broken, but you still got a song to sing. You can still play Connect Four with your cousins and cook barbecue, and we had a good time.
Yeah.
So while the eyes were on me, I knew that it wasn't about me. I knew that God was using both me and Smoochie in that moment to really glorify him. And so I wanted to be obedient in the spirit, and I could just feel in the spirit that it was really all about God in that moment. And there were a lot of people who were drawn to Christ just by seeing us just authentically worship and praise. So turning that camera on and us just jumping in the living room, we would have some low days, and I would text everybody in the house and say, hey, I can feel a low spirit. Everybody turn some praise and worship on. We're not going that route today. And we would praise, and we would make it a good day. But that led to understanding what the book needed to be about. What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I know that somebody else doesn't know? What is it that I have inside of me that I can share with somebody else on how to navigate this space?
Love that. And you mentioned in the book that the book is not a grief journal. We want to make that clear as well. And I love that. It's not a grief journal, y'all. So if you're grieving and you're going to it expecting it to be that, and if you haven't caught on, she's not about that life. She's about joy. And that is what she lays out in the book, in the tools that she is giving you. I just want to go into the way you laid out the book.
Okay.
And how you got to the point of, and I guess I have this imagination and the way my mind works, like I'm getting ready. Like when I do my workout, I like literally sit down like I'm about to do a workout. Like I plan it like that. And I sit down and I go through each part like a workout, cool down. And so how did you get to that place of putting the chapters together and now we're actually writing the book?
So once I put the tools down, I already had some kind of theme, and this is just me kind of talking through the technical part. So I already kind of had a theme, which was the mental gym. So of course, with the theme, you can already kind of go and use your imagination concerning fitness. And then when I thought about it, I was like, man, your daily bread, oh, that's like the nutrition. That's good. Oh, that's nice. It was really a brainstorming session with myself, which I love to do. Like I love the creative part. It's the execution part that's like, but I was like, man, that's pretty good. So let's do the scripture. I think we all need like a scripture. I want people to be able to pick up this book as a reference. I don't want you to ever put this book down. I want you to always pick it up as a reference, because I know when I've needed scripture, I've had a reference where I can go to, and I'm either on Google scriptures for rejection,
Blah, blah, blah.
scriptures
Yeah.
about love, and I want you to have a resource for you to use in order to find those scriptures. And then I wake up every day and I'm posting gratitude and I'm listening to worship. I have so many videos in my phone of just, vibing to worship.
Vibing.
Like I love worship. Like you can't out worship and praise.
Worship.
You can't do
Come
it.
on.
I
Come
won't
on.
let a rock cry out for me now.
Come on.
He's too good to me.
Right.
So worship really changes the atmosphere. It changes the tone. It changes what's coming out of your mouth. And the thing about worship is this, and I want to make sure I say this: it's not about just listening to it. It's really about opening your mouth and allowing the enemy to hear you worship, and allowing yourself to hear yourself worship as well. It works 10 times better when you use the audible. I don't care if you can sing, you can't sing. Opening your mouth and making those vocal declarations with your mouth in praise and worship, that's the key. Not just turning it on. Even if you have to whisper. Some days I only had the strength to like whisper the words.
Yes.
But even in that, it is so powerful.
Yes.
But let me go ahead and go through the rest of it. So next was after the warm up, then you get to your reps, and the reps is really the main part of the mental gym. Okay, your reps is the original, like where this originated from, and so reps is a short term for what you repeat in the gym. So they just call them, reps to sound cool. But you repeat your specific workout in the gym in order to work your muscles. You can either do it until what they call fail, which is your muscles give out, or you can do a certain amount to kind of build your strength. And so this section is for the write-offs, what I call write-offs. But you're writing your affirmations, you're writing your declarations, so that you can really get it into your mind and your spirit and your body. And so that's really the meat of the mental gym, where it originated from. The next section was lifting weights. And I was thinking about, casting your cares. We know that scripture of casting your cares unto the Lord, but sometimes burdens are heavy. Burdens are heavy. And so to lift your burdens, heavy burdens, that's lifting away. I said, this is good. This is good stuff. God was really downloading. It literally came
intentional. Golly.
So it was great. It was great when he gave me that. And then finally the cool down. I've been using this exercise for a long time. It was something that God gave me during therapy. I created a different worksheet and actually shared it with my community. But in this book, it fit more so in filling your cup to cool down. So once you go through all of this, sometimes it can exhaust you. Therapy is exhausting. Healing yourself is exhausting because you're being stripped. You're going to places mentally that inadvertently affects your body. And it can be very taxing on your physical body. That's why sometimes we feel like we need to take a nap all the time. That's me. So you need things to replenish you and to cool down. Whatever's in your cup should be replenishing you. Okay. And that means figuring out what spaces or times do you feel like, man, I feel like I can run on now? For me, I love to hang with my cousins. When we have cousin night, man, it just feels my
Fills your
night.
cup.
Be my little baby cousin, and she's asking 1,000 questions and to catch up. That's wonderful to me, to spend time booking someone to clean my home. Yeah, coming back to
Talk about
clean.
it.
Oh, it's lovely. It makes me feel so good to see the lines in the carpet, and I didn't put them there. Absolutely, sign me up.
Yes.
But I know
Hello.
that a clean home fills my cup. It makes me feel like I can breathe.
That's good.
So there are things that I wanted to implement as far as self-care at the end of the book. So those are the 5 sections of the book, and it just went right along with the theme of fitness and being in the
Goodness.
gym.
I love that. Well, what advice would you give, or do you have for our listeners who may be in the midst of their own heavy season and are looking for ways to strengthen their faith? Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that this book is a tool. And when you are going through things, and I'm smiling now, but the last 2 weeks I've literally been crying because life has still been lifing. I'm still dealing with residue and things. So I'm still going through life. Life is still happening.
Right.
But the tools that are inside of here are already ingrained in me. They may not be ingrained in you just yet. So I know that gratitude is going to center me. I know that if I can start finding things to be grateful for, then I'm going to shift my perspective. I know that when it's quiet in the house and my thoughts go left, I better turn on that worship so I can get my thoughts right.
Talk
I
about
better
it.
turn it on, and I don't want to hear never would have made it. I want to hear I got the victory. Okay.
Oof.
I don't want to hear
Yes.
a sad song. I need to be able to jump up, dance, and declare the goodness of the Lord.
Yes.
So I would definitely say start with gratitude, start with worship, because that's your warm up. And if you need to
Yes.
understand what the Lord is telling you about whatever specific area, then you want to get your nutrition. So this is really a tool. You can work through it in whatever section you feel like you need to start. You can journal your gratitude. You can turn on the worship music. There's actually a QR code for my worship playlist. A lot of people ask me, what am I listening to? And so I put that inside of the book as well. And then there are some times where life is life, and you just need a girls' night. You just need to gather your friends. That's part of filling your cup. And again, you don't have to work this book in any specific order,
I love
but
that.
the tools are here. So use your gratitude. Learn how to fill your cup with things that are going to replenish you. If you need a break, get a break. If you need to sign up for therapy, sign up for therapy. But get what you need, and those tools are there. So if you're struggling with something, I definitely recommend that you use the tools in the book. And again, not in any specific order, but
Right.
you can learn about those tools inside of the mental gym.
I love that. And I love that you made mention of the fact that you wanted it to be a resource, because a lot of journals are just specifically for that. And then you're flipping through a million other books along with that. And I love a good flow to any type of journal that I'm doing so that I'm not all over the place. And I just have to be transparent. When I first got the book, I'm going through the Daily Bread and I'm like, oh, I don't have none of that stuff. And I got to one word, and I was transparent about this on my social media, and it was discipline.
Mm.
And I was like,
Mm.
Lord, look at you done popped up in this book. Let me close this for today.
Yeah.
Let me go over to the reps. But that is so how the word will just prick you. And that's what you need, because sometimes you don't know what you need until you're getting ready to go for your daily bread. And
Yeah.
it's just like in real life. Like sometimes you don't know what you want to eat. And
Yeah.
I know that's my family. We always can't figure out what nobody wants to eat. But
Yeah.
then we start riding, it's like, oh, that sounds good. And so that's what the beginning nutrition was like, okay, nope, I don't have that. I'm good in that area. Oh, discipline. Okay, Lord.
Yeah.
Look at you showing up in the first few pages.
Jesus.
And so I love that that is one of the mindsets that you had when you were creating it. I'm gonna pivot a little bit because
Okay.
we talked about your fiance and the time that when it all was fresh and how you were in the limelight and how you were very mindful about how you showed up. And as an onlooker, as you said, people, including myself, was like, oh my, like I would go check. I was literally checking, not to find that you were breaking down or anything, but I'm like, oh Lord, I just want to know that she's okay today, because you can't fathom that type of tragedy. But you continue to show us, um, as you said, another way and what others might need, and that's what you became for a lot of people. But I want to talk about your fiance, because prior to um, his passing, I would go check up to see, okay. And I think I remember when y'all got engaged, you had
We had a 90s
thing.
party.
That's what it was. And I remember that. And so I would go check, and then you had posted the picture of y'all together. And I think I have that picture there. Um, is there anything that you would like to share about him in this moment? Because you have done an amazing job of honoring him in that, despite how many of us may have been just probably not even able to fathom the type of grace that you had during that season, in the early season.
Yeah, so when I think about Smoochie's legacy, I really think about um how I want Sunday to remember him. And when I think about how I want the world to remember him, it is two words: die empty. If you gotta go empty. Smoochie was extremely talented. He was an entrepreneur, had his hands in many, many different things. He was very determined. He was full of faith. Smoochie could get knocked down to negative, and pick a number, and he would find a way to climb out. He would find a way to move forward. He was gonna find a way.
Word.
And but he was extremely talented. He did a lot of things. He played drums, he
Wow.
cooked, he did construction, he could figure it out.
Wow.
And I think that um in his short time here on earth, I think he used it, every ounce of him. He used it. He was a fantastic father. He wanted to be a dad so bad. He loves, even in the spirit. And Barbara. Don't let me forget Kendra.
Oh,
He was
there
a
it is. Oh,
barber.
wow. He's a barber too.
Oh yeah. And he loves Sunday rain. Um, love Sunday rain. So um, I want his legacy to be that others should be inspired to die empty. Do not go to the grave with potential.
I love that. I love that message. Man, it's no wonder y'all were together, baby. Y'all both are just into everything.
Jesus, everything.
He was a barber. Wow. And then he cooked. So the restaurant, what did he cook at his restaurant as
He
well?
did. He did.
So do you cook?
Yeah,
You
I do.
inquire amounts. Oh, come on,
I
you
do.
better
I
cook.
enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking for myself.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. It is one of my items that I put in my cup to fill my cup. When I can create a
Yes.
meal for me to nourish my body, it is a literal act of self-care, and I love it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that in that way. I like that. I like
Yeah.
to cook too. Well, looking ahead, what do you hope for Sunday as she grows up to, in thinking about writing the book? And I know you considered her. What tools do you hope that she gathers, or what things do you hope that she gleans from in watching you and walking this out and having this guide for herself now from her mother?
I hope that she is a recipient of the legacy of faith. You know, I talk to my mom all the time, and I hope she understands that I think that she's a living legacy of faith. You know, I've watched and heard my mom pray. I know my mother's prayers have carried me from the time I was a child sick in a hospital to today. And I want Sunday to know that she is a product of legacy of faith. I want her to know that if she can believe, then all will be well. I want her to know that she is loved. I want her, even in these tools, to know that she is a daughter of God. I want her to know that He is compassionate towards her. And although mommy cannot save her from her testimony, that she is chosen and that she is absolutely loved. I just pray that she feels completely loved.
I love that. I love that. And you posted that video the other day where you were doing her hair and it was to the mothers. Look, I know she knows that. She is, when y'all are together, I'm like, she's like the perfect blend of both of y'all. Like,
She
she
really
looks
is.
like you, but then like certain angles, she looks like him. And so that is just a beautiful gift. The last thing that I want to kind of close with is, as someone who, because I'm gonna go back to them affirmations because I'm just determined to keep that at the forefront.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what affirmations would you say have been kind of the at the forefront of your reps, and that you would want others to be able to take away in this season?
So my original affirmation, that when I first thought about being in the mental gym, my original affirmation was I am necessary. I was just really in a tough season where I just needed to understand that people want what I have to offer. And so the original affirmation that was at the forefront is I am necessary. My affirmation for this week that I have been meditating on is it's too easy for God to bless me. It's too easy. It's too easy for God to bless me. He wants to bless me. He wants to surprise me. He wants to love me. God is up there being strategic about my next blessing. He's planning it. He's masterful about it. And it's too easy for God to bless me.
I love that. And is there any last closing things for our audience? We've talked about the book in great length, and I think we can't talk about everything, and you still not look. I'm looking like, man, I didn't get to talk about this, but it is such a great tool and a great resource. And without just being a plug, for anybody that is listening to this podcast, first and foremost, the Audacity to Heal podcast was birthed from a place of me having to have the audacity to make a choice to heal.
Yes.
And so for my audience, that is the hope, that everyone that is watching the podcast, the guests that we have on, that you will find something in something that person says that will give you the audacity to heal forward. And so I just want you to talk to our audience as we're getting ready to close out. Anything that's on your heart that you want to speak to them about, whether it's from the mental gym book or just speaking to them about a season, because you are writing, look, oh Lord, you're writing your next book because you are walking out this season in a way that is a tool for those that have never done it. And the way you're doing it specifically is only a way that God is orchestrating for it to be another guide for other people. And so I just want you to have your opportunity to speak to our audience, whatever may be on your heart. Feel free to share.
I think that it is so strategic that the name of this podcast is The Audacity to Heal. It truly takes courage. It truly takes boldness to pick your pieces up and figure out what to do with them. It truly takes audacity in a world that says that you should be crazy, in a world that says that you should be suffering, in a world that says their timing should be your timing, in a world that says, you know, if you don't post it, it ain't true. In a world that tells you how to handle you, it truly takes audacity to heal. And I love what you said about healing forward. I think that in my journey of healing forward, I want my life to be a testament of God's grace, his love, his redemption, and his power to change you from the inside out if you allow him to. And if there is not anything else that someone takes from this episode, from this podcast, I want each and every one of you to know that God loves you with his whole heart. His hand is sometimes not traceable. He may not pay the bill. He may not get you a new car. He may not replace the thing, but he loves us so much. His heart for us. And if you can just pray that God can show you his heart for you, it'll change your entire life. And I just wish and I hope that all people could see God as a good, good father and in a different way, and it can transform everything. Because he won't always show up the way that you expect. But when he's silent and you know he has a good heart for you, it makes it a little bit easier for you to go through.
So good. God, that is so good. Look, I'm about to get choked up over here. Thank you for that, because I think, again, as I said earlier, when you're in the midst of really going through something, sometimes the tools to grasp the word, I don't know if any of the listeners have ever been in a pit. Sometimes the first thing that you can say is Jesus, because your mind is not thinking about the scriptures.
No.
And all you can just say is, Lord, help. But having the tools and the foundation, that's why the word talks about hiding it in your heart, because you're going to need it later. And so you have to do the work. And this book is just one of the many tools that even has the resources in the beginning so that you can go back to the word, because that's where it starts. So I thank God for your gift, Miss Zii. I thank you for this gift that you have now given us. I thank you for being here tonight. Look, I get so caught up in the show. Thank you to all of our listeners that have been here. Y'all have been riding with us. I haven't even been looking at the time. I see all this fruit. I love this fruit. That is so cute.
Thank you.
I got to shout y'all out, because y'all have been diligent about posting y'all's fruit over here. Your community loves you. You have truly planted seeds within them in the different areas that you have touched your audience. We thank you for your time tonight. We thank you for the Mental Gym. If you have not gotten your copy of the Mental Gym, what are you waiting on? Head over to Amazon. You can get it on Prime, so it'll be there quick, because I ordered mine on a Friday. It was there on Monday. Your copy of the Mental Gym. I'm just so full, and I love the practicality of this. Zii, do you want to say anything else to your people? Because they are just lighting up the comments with all this fruit. I love this. This is too cute.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all so much. My heart is overwhelmed with the grace and the joy of having you all present. Y'all are my village. I will continue to show up for you all. Thank you so much for showing up for me. I really, 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 from the depths of my heart, I really appreciate it.
Love that. Well, you all, we have had our time. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Stay bold, stay hopeful, keep healing forward, and we will see you all the next time on the Audacity to Heal podcast. See y'all later.
Thank you for tuning in today to the Audacity to Heal podcast. I hope this episode has inspired you and ignited something within you. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a rating or review on your favorite podcast platform. And if you know somebody who could truly benefit from hearing this episode, share it with them. Until next time, keep embracing your journey, and remember, you have the audacity to heal.